Odds are, if you're a college student and you haven't already locked down a job, an internship, or research, you've probably been applying to a lot of stuff, and you've also probably been getting a lot of rejections. Now, there's two main types of rejections to consider. The kind where you just submit your resume online through something like Glassdoor or Indeed, and then you never actually talk to the company. That's a little bit different. I'm not going to touch on that in this video. If you want, go check out one of my videos about resumes and how you can improve your resume. What I'm really going to be talking about is when you go and interview with a company and then you don't hear back, or they just aren't interested in moving forward in the process with you. And to keep this video from running too long, I'm going to cap it at 6 minutes. So hopefully I don't go over that. Let's get started. Now, I think if you realize that you're bombing interviews, you probably know why you're getting rejected. But I think the more interesting question that this raises is, why are you bombing those interviews? First one is you just haven't taken the time to brush up on the position or really the skills required for it. And this is pretty much inevitable. If you end up in a difficult interview and you haven't really prepared, obviously you're going to struggle compared to anyone else who's actually prepared and taken the time to do that. The second thing, which can be a legitimate problem for a surprisingly large number of people, is that on your resume you're claiming to have experience with things that you really don't have any experience with. Now, I do understand why people do this, and I can sympathize to a certain extent, because it's so hard in the first place to land an interview. People will load up their resumes with buzzwords and other things like that, hoping it's going to make it past the screening process and as a result give them an opportunity to interview with the company. The issue is, once the company actually expects you to have experience and knowledge of the things that you listed on your resume and you very clearly don't, it's just going to have been a great waste of your time and of the company's time. So the big takeaway here, make sure you're preparing both in terms of technical and behavioral questions for your interviews. I think that's probably a given for most people watching this. And also make sure you're not being deceptive on your resume, because generally it's not going to work out very well for you. This is probably most common in technical interviews, and it's like while you are trying to solve a problem in your head, your interviewer is just sitting there staring at you in awkward silence. Okay, if I'm being honest, this can be a bit tough, and there is a bit of a learning curve involved, because unless you normally talk to yourself when you're thinking, which some people do, nothing wrong with that, unless you're taking a test with other people, and then it's probably a little bit annoying. But unless you normally talk to yourself, you're probably used to thinking through problems in your head, and as a result, trying to verbalize that in a stressful scenario with someone sitting there staring at you is probably going to be a bit of a challenge. The thing is, interviewers want to see your process and how you think. They don't just want you to spit out the correct answer. So it's great if you can think of the correct answer after sitting there for 10 minutes in silence and just spit that out. But they would much rather you think through the problem with them, talk about what you're thinking about, what you think is not going to work, what you think is going to work, and then arrive at the correct solution, hopefully at the end of all of that. First off, it's just going to be way less awkward if you're actually talking to the interviewer instead of just sitting there in silence for the whole time, like I said. And second, if you're going down the wrong path or the right path, the interviewer can help you with that. So you can talk about what you're thinking in your head, and they can say, yep, you're on the right path, just keep going with that, or you might want to go back to the drawing board, you're overlooking something important. Now, the flip side of this whole thing, which I imagine is probably a lot less common, at least for me, but I know does happen for some people, is that you're talking way too much during your interviews. Now, this could just be that you're rambling a lot, which isn't necessarily too much of an issue. It is a little unprofessional, and if you do it too much, it's not going to look good for you. But this is more so about people who are constantly jumping in and talking over their interviewers because they're trying to show them that they're one step ahead and they can see where they're going with things. Odds are you're not going to show them that you're one step ahead of them, you're just going to annoy the heck out of them because they're going to be like, I'm trying to talk to this person and all they keep doing is stepping on my toes, and they just keep trying to say what I'm about to say. Now, I realize that I just said that you want to make sure you're not talking too little, but you also want to make sure you're not talking too much. And this probably sounds like a difficult balance to strike, but the way I would say you should think about it is like you're having a conversation with the interviewer. First off, if this person was your boss or your coworker, this is something that you would be doing on a regular basis with them. You'd be having normal discussions, talking through problems and stuff like that. And generally, interviewers get a pretty good vibe from people that they think would be good coworkers. It's not just can they do on an interview, it's for the next 5-10 years, do I want this person on my team? Can I have conversations with them? Do we vibe well together? Can't believe I just said vibe, but you get what I'm saying. Second, it'll help you shift the perception of the interview from you being put under a microscope, which generally isn't a good feeling, to it just being a mutual opportunity for you and the potential employer to get to know each other a little better. Ultimately, it's not just about whether you're a good fit for the company, it's about whether that company is a good fit for you. Especially in your first couple interviews, this is going to be really challenging because odds are you'll be really stressed and you don't have a lot of experience, but trust me, over time it will start to feel a little bit more natural. This is honestly one of the hardest points to address, and it's because there's not really much you can do about it at this point. Assuming you're being yourself in the interview, or at least a professional representation of yourself, If they really don't feel that you align well with the team, there's not much you can do about that, because that's just saying that you as a person didn't click well with that team or that company. Of course, if you're coming off as rude, cocky, or unprofessional at any point during the process, not just during the interview, it could be during emails or phone calls, you're probably going to have a lot of trouble getting jobs unless you're really good at what you do. Because if people get the feeling that you're going to be a pain to work with, they're probably going to avoid hiring you and just hire someone else who seems like they're going to be a better fit and a little more laid back and not such a pain to deal with on a daily basis. The other thing that I think is worth noting here is that this is often used as an umbrella expression, and essentially what I mean by that is it's not always about your personality or how well you fit into the team. It could really just be that the company has a generic email that they send out to everyone they reject, and they just have a little spiel they put in there about you not being a good fit. So if you get an email or you get a rejection that says, oh, we didn't feel you were a good fit for the company, it's not necessarily your personality and your skills working with that team. It could have actually been something else, whether that be not having the technical background they wanted or whatever it happens to be, and that's just the general email that they fire off to everybody. Alright, there's a lot of other things that I could touch on, but in the interest of keeping things short, I'm going to cut it off here. If you enjoyed this video though, please do hit that thumbs up button, I really appreciate it, and if you're new here, consider subscribing for new videos coming very soon. That's it, thanks for watching, I'll catch you guys in the next one.